Alright. Hello and welcome. This is episode 2 of Chaser SMC. Chaser SMC's Transformers One Megathon. I explained what I was going to be doing with the Megathon. Obviously you see there where it comes from, right? Where I'm opening 5 boxes of Transformers One in every one. I will do, actually this one looks a little the worse for wear, so I will do it in this order. Yeah, that's fine, I can go over there. Okay, so to recap, I suppose, really, in the first episode of the Megathon, the best card I got was this lenticular SHR. So it's like the special lenticular. It is very rare of Starscream, but you can see that cut there along the top right there, kind of going across there. You see that? There are actually a couple more down the bottom here as well. You see those two there, kind of going this way. See if I can get that closer. If you just focus on that area there, yeah, you see that? See it down the bottom right there? Right there. You see it? Which is a shame, right? Because if you don't focus on that, the level of lenticular in this is just brilliant, right? But if I got that graded, I reckon Surface might put an 8.5. I'd be surprised if the card all up got anything better than the 9.5 because of those obvious defects, which is such a shame, right? You know? Anyway. Let's see what we get with these 5, eh? What do you say? I've got a good storage area here now for Transformers One. So maybe when I'm about halfway through or something like that, I'll just move segments off into the storage area. That way I can have space for more. I am going to, I'm just going to clear these up, put them away. If I get anything really good in these, I will not be putting them in regular sleeves, but my perfect fits. So they can kind of go there just in case. Right, stop fucking. Okay, let's get going. Let's get going. I mean, the box conditions of these is largely fine, if I'm being honest. I don't expect to have any problems with these. You know, I should just tear these, shouldn't I? Really, just fucking get in there, you know. But if I ever want to resell these boxes or something like that, I kind of do want to keep them in good nick, really. Simon, the audience does not have all day. In fact, and neither do you. Anyway, let's go. I'm not going to talk, I'm going to ramble. I'm not going to ramble, really. I'm not going to talk, I'm going to ramble. Going to go sort of pretty fast, really, because I've got 5 boxes, you know. And you kind of want to see the jackpot. Like, the jackpot motif is kind of coming back into it, right? When you spend this sort of money on cards, you're really just chasing like the big payout, you know, the really, you know. Yeah, look, yeah, that's fine. Just go over there, that's fine. Underneath the Megathon. Oh, the Megathon. Alright, so here we are back with Transformers One. Let's see how we go, eh? I am still chasing the one SR card. I should actually have written down which of the other cards that I'm chasing as far as these are concerned. Because when it comes to like URs or USRs, I think it's the SSR, that one there for example, I think I'm only actually after one of them, 1 or 2. I should have written down which ones they were, I didn't. But it's okay. Let's, you know, I'll do all that off camera. But you do get the 2 kind of special cards, kind of common but kind of rare, I suppose, a little bit. There is that SSR and there is a UR, which is more like a circular motif. And one of them I'm short 1, and the other one I think I'm short 2. Again, look, I do appreciate the effort they put into these cards. Like, you know, look at that too. Optimus v Megatron. Honestly, if they do something like this based on the... I've said it before, but you know how I feel. Something like this based on the 86 movie, this kind of much effort they put into it. Fuck. I could see me saying to my wife, I'm dropping $1,000 on this. It's going to happen. if they do it, you know. All pretty standard thus far though. Nothing here to report at the moment. But I like the set as well. Not just because I suppose the movie wasn't really was okay really. It was alright. You know, we've had worse. I mean, Jesus, as a Transformers fan, pick any fucking live action outside of that really. Yeah, see, that's another one of those SSRs. I'll make an SSR pile here, and I'll make a UR pile here. Anything special I get, as always, will go over there. But I'll try to keep it in sight, though I like, obviously, the graphic being on there. I should really have the graphic in the bottom left corner, but it's fine. We can work it out, really. We can work it out. Right, so I'm going to just really fly through these. Because we don't really want to be here all day. You've seen all of this before. I'm only going to touch on anything that is new, really. And there has been nothing new as far as I can tell thus far. I'm pretty... Oh, hello, look. I've said hello again. Be that as it may. That is the last SR that I needed, the cog of conversion. I'm going to sleeve and top load that straight away. So that's pretty good, really. I'm happy at that. I'll put it in a normal sleeve, not a perfect fit, just because everything else that is in that binder are all in just normal sleeves, not perfect fits. And a top load, if you will. I am pleased at that. That is the last SR that I needed. I now have them all. Look, I like that too, you know. Again, I really appreciate the level of work they put into these sets. I really do. Dynamite, really. Sorry, I should say not Dynamite, because Dynamite's Transformers cards are shit. Shit, aren't they, really? But look, obviously, when it comes to these, I want like rare. I want numbered. You know, these are good though. Like they're all right, really. You know, but I'm not seeing anything that leads me to think it's something I don't have before. It is a good time, you know. I know I'm addicted, eh? I know I'm addicted. It's just like dangerous stuff. I always want to be careful with the reveal of the other ones, just because you never quite know. You know, that's what I mean by the UR. See that? It's kind of like that circular motif. You know, they're a great card when it comes to the level of effort they put into them. You know, they really give it all the flair, all the treatments. You know, I could see people being like, "Fucking Chinese" is like a euphemism for crap. Or something like that, like it's just cheap tat, people might say. Oh, I got a TP. Who do I have this time? Solus Prime. I don't think I have this TP. I'm fast building up a collection of all of these. I have all of the other ones right here. I'm going to sleeve and top load it anyway, so I will do it right now. And then I'll compare it and just make sure that it is a new TP, which I think it is. But I don't really care for the TPs or the 13 primes, you know. But these are my existing ones, right? I did have 2 more of the Quintus Primes. I don't have them here at the moment. Obviously, that is a new one. That's Solus Prime. I wouldn't mind, obviously, Alphatron or Megatronus, maybe something like that. But again, I don't really appreciate the naming. Megatron, yeah, Megatronus. Like really, you couldn't think of anything else. You know, not really big on that. You know, it does demonstrate a lack of, I suppose you might say, imagination, doesn't it, really? Some of these cards are stuck together. There is another one there, I feel. Okay, maybe there isn't on that one. That's okay. Yeah, so I've got all the scene cards. You know, I already have all of those. I think the last UR that I need is Megatron. Or it could be the last SSR that I need. I know one of them is Megatron. Let's just roll straight into the other pack, so I'm not going to stop here. I'm not going to stop. Look, I'm happy to have that, come on. Look, I just did that to myself, didn't I? It's okay. I'm happy to have that Cogum conversion there, though. I'll be honest about that. That's pretty good, really. Because it means I can sign off on having all of those SRs. I'm happy at that. That's a win, really. It's good for me. And I do also appreciate the fact that this isn't one of the more expensive sets. As I say, when sales are running, you can get 4 boxes of these for 70 Australian dollars. You know? So if you're like in America, that's like $10 or something, you know? It's Australian dollars really doing well at the moment, isn't it, you know? That's alright. It's a good set though. They did put a bit into this, you know? But you're going to get a lot of these. Look at that Dividing Fate. You're going to get a lot of these. It's just a lot of these really generic packs where it's like, yep, seen it, you know. Is it what I'm after? No. Even the TPs. Is that what I'm after? Not really. No, it's not. I do like kind of getting a bit of a glimpse at what's coming though. Getting so many more of these than the Megatron and Optimus ones. Instead, I get D16 and Orion packs. But this is just me. It's, you know, this really does hark back to my my Cybertron and Jackpot Chaser days, where it's really just cracking packs as quickly as possible in the hope that I get the jackpot, and I was playing those sounds, all of that kind of stuff, you know. It was a good little idea, I suppose, really. I mean, you know, and I'm inclined to repeat again, you know, when you get people like me, and obviously I've got a decent collection now, you know. But when you get people like me and I've got decent collections, it really is just because I spent a lot of money. Like, there's nothing impressive about it. Because if you want, I've got another TP. Alpha Trion. Yeah, that's alright. Didn't I say, like 5 minutes ago, I would have liked that one? Yeah, you ripper. Nice for me to actually get one that I'll just get, I'll get a normal one. Nice for me to actually get a, what I'm doing here, like I've got these regular sleeves just off camera now, right? Regular stuff like this, like I don't really care about this, you know, like Alpha Trion is a little bit after my time. Like I know he was introduced to like in series 2 of Transformers, you know, when they started really going back to Cybertron quite a bit, you know. But the primes as a whole I don't really care about. They're not, then you know, like I wouldn't have a display for Alpha Trion or anything like that. So actually all of these TPs, and it would be nice to get all 13 if I'm being honest, but all of those TPs I could see me just leaving in the binder instead of actually having in my display. But what I was going to say is that the Perfect Fit sleeves, which I have here, so still on camera, they're the ones that I'm going to be using if I get anything really magic. Any numbered cards, for example. Which is obviously what I'm after. Maybe if I get another SHR, I might perfect fit that, yeah, like I did with Optimus. I suppose it depends what character I get. Obviously, if I get an SHR and it's something like Elita 1 from this, that won't really do a lot for me. Because I don't consider her a particularly well-crafted character in this TV show, in this movie. TV show? You know how she, like, you know, when they got to the surface, she was doing that thing where she was smacking that rock, and she was really annoyed about the fact that, you know, it was like she was chucking a bit of a hissy fit. It wasn't well written, you know. One of the problems, like, okay, there was, you know, people have kind of said, like, yeah, look, you know, they didn't market this movie well, and yeah, fair enough, they didn't. But I think one of the problems was they didn't really know what audience they wanted to appeal to. So it had elements of being sort of cartoony, like, and really sort of childish, like the aforementioned, and B127 never fucking shutting up, right? You know? So it had elements of that. Or how Megatron, yeah, it's pretty good. But it had elements of so really childish stuff, and then really serious stuff as well. You know, like Megatron tearing Sentinel Prime in half. You know, and it's like, you know, they, you know, I mean, someone dropped the ball. Let's be fucking honest. You know, it's not. It ain't great how they did that. Look at that, that's good, isn't it, really? D16V Starscream. Doesn't even really look like. I've got most of those, you know. Alright, we're 2 boxes down, 3 more to go. I'll do one more, and then I'll, like, just kind of take these off so I've got fresh. Otherwise, the piles end up really being getting a bit messy and stuff, you know. Nothing noteworthy really yet, though, if I'm being honest. Like, I've gotten a couple of TPs, which is my understanding is that's a pretty good return, right? I've opened 2 boxes of this episode. You're on top of this, sorry. I've opened 2 boxes from this episode and gotten a TP from each, which is that's a pretty good return. What it means is I'm not going to get another TP for fucking ages now. But I mean, they're okay, but they're not what I'm in it for, as you know. You know. How much am I going to care when they couldn't even be bothered to really think up elaborate names for these characters? And so one of the, I said it before, right? And so one of the primes, they just called him Primo Prime. You know? Like, that's someone, I'm sorry, that's someone not giving a fuck, eh? Really. You know, you're not glossing that up with me. I know someone doesn't fucking care. I just can't name another fucking prime. Do it or you're fired. Alright, fucking, I don't care. Primo Prime. You know? And so, and, you know, this is where an executive should have gone, you can't fucking call someone Primo, you can't call him Primo Prime. Instead, they just kind of went, yeah, right, we'll do that. You know? Fucking good, really, is it? Primo Prime. I'll give you fucking Primo Prime. What are you talking about? So what I want is like a numbered one, something that really sort of just, yeah, like, you know. I mean, being Transformers 1, it was never going to be at the height of my collection. Height of my collection is obviously the XRs from the 40th. The 2 Optimuses. I can't fucking believe that still. Even now, they're like they're right at the top. They're right at the top, you know. That's good. The Death of Orion packs. I do like the ones at the end. I was so conflicted about Transformers 1 when I walked out. You know, I really was like, you know, when you get someone like me walking out. See, what's weird, right? I'll you know, when I think I've got another TP coming here. Are you joking? I do, don't I? You can see the corner of it there. When I walk out of your average live action, like Michael Bay Transformers, right? I was like fucking sick, you know. Revenge of the Fallen. Never mind the first one, right? Even Revenge of the Fallen, I was like, fuck, it was really good, you know. Prime was obviously came back to life and all. And then even Dark of the Moon, I was sort of like, yeah, fuck, it was a good time, you know. Then over time, you watch it a few times, the novelty wears off, and you start sort of like, fuck, really, you know. You could make it make sense, Jesus. You spend $150 million on special effects, but you can't get a plot that makes fucking sense. What are you talking about, you know? Look, let's just do this, right? My Cronus. I don't know if I have this one either. How have I gotten a TP from each of these last 3 boxes? I'm just going to get in the habit of sleeping and top load these ones straight away. It would be nice to have the entire collection, I'll be honest. Not because I really care enough to have the entire collection. I couldn't even name them all. Could you? No, I couldn't. My Cronus, Alpha Trion, Solus Prime, Zeta, Analogamus, whatever his name is, Analogamus, I don't know, Primo, don't get me started, Onyx, Zeta, Quintus. I've gotten a fair few now. Not what I'm in it for, right? But what I was going to say is that with live action with Michael Bay, I would start high as far as my rating of the movie. Fuck, it was sick. It was, you know, because it was live action. It was sort of brand new. You know, you were like, Jesus, you know, it really is impressive what they're able to do with those visual effects. You know, pity about the fucking story. Over time, as the special effects kind of wear off, and then you have to be invested more in the story, that's when the rating, your opinion of the movie, drops considerably. Like if you think, say, you know, Revenge of the Fallen or Age of, you know, never mind the Shia LaBeouf, you know, when Mark Wahlberg comes into it, Jesus Christ, you know, like the quality of those movies, it just fucking, it wasn't that high to begin with, and yet it dropped off a cliff, you know. What is Age of Extinction and The Last Night or whatever they're called? Fucking hell, you know. Give me credit. I stopped at Age of Extinction. You know, I was done. The Last Night I never saw on the big screen. And I'm embarrassed I let it go that far. But what I was going to say is that Transformers 1 was a bit of an about face when it comes to that. What I mean is that when I walked out of Transformers 1, I was like, yeah, 6.5, you know, because of too many of the childish elements. Over time, and then as I got into like sort of editing the movie, that's when you sort of come to appreciate, well, there were some really good things about this movie, you know. So if you edit it and you cut out the crap, you can get something that is fucking really good, you know. Cut out all the jokes and stuff like that, you know. I ended up doing an edit for that movie, and I'm not kidding. I think it lasts like 3/4 of an hour or something, or maybe just a solid hour, you know. But it's a good fucking hour, right? Like instead of the race, I made it as if they got in trouble and were banished because of the accident in the mine, because they didn't follow protocol or something like that. Look at that fucking Ironhide's a repeat. Alright, let me just move all these to one side, store them where I'm storing these things, and then we'll crack on with the last 2 boxes. Nothing really to report thus far, if I'm being honest though. Like, it's nice to have those TPs, but I don't really care for them, as mentioned, right? Yeah, so over time, my impression of the Transformers One movie then increased. I came to recognise, okay, look, what I don't like about it really sucks. Like, it's fucking shit. You know? But over time, when things... I'll leave them there. That's okay. But I need space to obviously store those big... You know, the ones you end up with fucking shitloads of. I've got more cards coming too. You know. I don't like working all the time, right? Like, I was going to start talking about the working day a bit more while I'm doing these recordings, you know. Like at the moment I'm recording this, it's Saturday morning my time. I don't know when I'm going to schedule this video to go live, but it's Saturday morning, right? When it comes to the time of week, Saturday morning is like a solid fucking A+, you know. More recently, like, you know, I'm that guy in the workplace who says annoying shit. Like, we walk out, it's Friday afternoon, everyone's on cloud nine. And I'll say, enjoy it guys, it's all downhill from here. You know? Obviously what I mean is that by the time you get out and it's Friday afternoon, and I'm just obviously assuming we're talking about a standard, you know, you work, you know, 9 till 5 days a week, some shit like that, and get the weekend off, you know. Now obviously the working week goes so slowly, the weekend flies by. Now obviously it doesn't help that you work for 5 days, you only get fucking 2 off, you know. All of these other cards I've seen, I know I have them all. So yeah, Saturday morning my time. This is the best for me, right? And I'm one of those. I don't like having plans. Any fucking plans. I'm like, leave me the fuck alone. For all I know, that's the last UR that I needed. But is that D16 or is it Megatron? It's D16. I think the one that I'm actually chasing is Megatron. It can be hard to, obviously at first glance, to know the difference between the two. So now is a great time of, like, you know, if you see me, if I'm like, oh look, I'm doing a video, it's Tuesday night and I'm cracking some more cards. Usually that means I haven't had the best working day. Because, you know, when you're having a crap working day, you're thinking, fuck, like, I want to get home and record a video, you know, opening some cards, you know. Like, you're trying to account for the fact that you're having a shit fucking working day. I'm really not getting anything good thus far, am I? But look at that, fucking exactly the same bloody... See that? Fuck's sake. Don't care for that. I mean, you know, look, you're going to get repetition, of course, you know. Now's a great time of week for me. As a species, we spend too much time working, you know. Like, people ask, like, what do you do? You know? What do you do? Oh, I'll sell this, I'll sell that, I'll do this, I'll do that. There's way too much of an emphasis on that, you know. And don't tell me, with the level of technology we've got going at the moment, don't tell me that we couldn't work 4-day weeks. Well, that too. What I was going to say was 4-hour days. I'm sorry, but it's bullshit. We could do what we need to get society ticking over. If the goal was just to get everything done, so you would have a lot more free time to explore your creative endeavours, you know? Like, I'd be writing my books some more, stuff like that. Sorry, I was checking to see if there was anything special coming. Like, these are nice, like, you know, again, look, see, I said this not long ago. I keep getting D16 ones of these. I must have had half a dozen just from the Megathon. These are nice though. Like, you know, it's a good level of tech. The card is very appealing. It looks nice to look at. It's just because I know I've got it, you know. We absolutely could get everything done, and it would only be requiring us to be working 4-hour days, and even then, you know, even then you wouldn't have to do it 5 days a week. If the emphasis was just on getting it done, just on growing enough food to feed people, absolutely, you know. We just while away hours of our life working, and there's no need for it. You know, we don't. You know, last box. Nothing really noteworthy on this one, really. If I'm being honest, nice to have that cog of conversion to complete the SRs, but I haven't got anything to write home about here. I will check these off camera and let you know. Like I could see me starting up a next one going, oh look, I've gotten all of this one, or I've gotten all of that one, potentially, but I'll do that off camera because it takes a bit of fast around, you know. Like I get my magnifying glass because some of the numbers are a bit sort of small, you know. Okay, last box. But there will be more of these coming. It will. I don't know what it is, you know. I have said it before about this hobby not being a healthy one, you know. Like if I was to add up, and I think I'm going to do it, right, just get another update, right, add up how much I spent on AliExpress on Transformers cards since I started buying them the beginning of this year. I think I'm going to be in the neighbourhood of about $6,000 Australian. That's a lot of fucking money, really, isn't it? You know, that's not healthy, is it, really? You know, I mean, look, I suppose at least I recognise it's not healthy, but it really isn't. But I like the randomness of it all, you know. I like the fact that until I crack this, for example, there could be the best card in my life in this pack. You know, it's extremely unlikely. But I like the fact that there's that possibility, you know. It kind of is that thing with Schrodinger's cat, if it's alive or dead, you know. You don't know until you find out, you know. And like I said, I do have more to come as well. But a lot of this is really just sort of filing shit away, you know. They all just sort of go into the same spot and all that stuff. I mean, you can tell really, like when you crack one here and you sort of slowly do a bit of a reveal, and it's like, yeah, there are just hundreds, thousands, millions of these packs, and it's just all the base cards, you know. We really are on 2 packages are in transit. Oh, I love it when that comes through. I know, it's fucking good, isn't it, really? Something that's stuck there. I've got another TP. This is Noxus. I've gotten a sensational number of TPs this morning, mind you. I mean, look, I don't know. Do I have them all? Do I have this one? I don't know. I know there were 13 of them. Let's confirm, like down the bottom left there. I'll get that number kind of sharp there. Fuck, even now it's hard to read, isn't it? Is that 7 of 13? Fuck. There you go. See it there now. That's fine. 13 kind of makes it just so it's sort of like I probably should do a bit of research really, so... Did I have that one before? I don't think I did, you know. So Nexus 1, Micronus, Alpha, Solus, Zeta, Analogamous, Primo, Onyx, Zeta, did I have? Yeah, let's get the two Zetas together so I know they're the same, right? So, Nexus 1, Micronus 2, Alpha 3, Solus 4, Zeta 5, Analogamous 6, Primo 7, Onyx 8, Quintus 9. It'd be nice to get all 13, I suppose, really, just so I can, you know, tick it off the bucket list. Fucking joking, aren't you? Just to kind of say, I suppose I got them all. But again, I'd file them in my binder. I don't really care to have them on display. They don't mean anything to me. I want the numbered cards from this. Really, look, here we go again. Fuck, I keep saying it, don't I? Endless D16 lenticulars. I'm not even talking about the special lenticular, just the standard. Endless D16 lenticulars, like, but very few Megatrons. You know. Not really a lot to be said for this opening, if I'm being honest, on account of the fact that, like, if you love TPs, you're in the right fucking place, right? But I don't really. They don't mean a lot to me, you know? Endless repeats. Okay, last pack for this morning, folks. I'll say this morning, but you know, my videos don't actually go live in the morning, if I'm being honest. Not that it really matters. Yeah, I think that's all she wrote this morning. Here he goes again. That's all she wrote. See, look at this. See that? Let me touch on it briefly, you know. They just try to make it funny all the time, don't they? You know? They even included the scene where Optimus is like, my head, all of this stuff, you know, and they're having trouble walking because one of their legs has become a wheel and the other one is still like a leg, you know. And this one, they're not good elements of the movie. I did an edit for Transformers One. I called it the Gen X fan edit, something like that, because I'm not 6. You know, and I cut all of those. You know, I don't really need. You know, it's not good really. They did it just to try to get a laugh from the very young. People like me have to sort of groan through it. Really, it's not what I want to see in my franchise. You know, why? Again, because I'm not fucking 6 years old. All right. I mean, it's a good time for me cracking these things though, but unfortunately, not really anything to report. Obviously, nice to have gotten a fair few more TPs, but I'm not in it for them, really. I'm absolutely not. But I suppose it's nice enough to have. I'll move Alpha Trion to the front of them, I suppose. Nexus, Micronus, yeah, like I've got a few here now. They're all white, really, but yeah, you know. Alright, yeah. Alright, this has been episode 2 of Chaser SMC's Transformers One Megathon. Thanks for watching, anyone who's watching. Yeah, it's a good time. Like, you know, opening cards is a good time. It really is. Just because you don't know what you're going to get. You know, you never know. There could be something spectacular around the corner. Alright, thanks for watching. And I'll see you for the next time.